Hello, you're right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm doing the headphone. I'm doing the headphone thing because then I feel kind of like fancy.
It's the way forward, mate.
It's the way forward. Look at this. Look at this. I used to just put literally. When I had my my optics, I used to just fill them with cocktails, just to make my life easier. So I just put martini in one. I put like an old fashioned in one and a Manhattan in one. I can just tap it off and then it's done. Great.
That's a beautiful idea because you know we like to make things in massive jugs. So
yeah,
get it in.
Yeah, after last week, I was sort of went to sort of start working on some drinks this week for us, right? Not last week, the week before. I started and then I was like, oh, actually, I turned the entire bottle of Buffalo Trace into a jug of sangria, and I don't have any.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was like, oh crap! Sunday morning, I was like, what's this in the fridge?
What have you been cooking up then?
So we did a amazing Chateaubriand cut of beef. Hilary turned his into a beef Wellington, and I did mine. Oh, look at that!
Look at that!
He did love hearts on his.
Love hearts.
Yeah. I think they're for you, Carl.
Yeah. Is it for me or is it specially for the meat? It's
this one's for you, Carl.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Oh.
I mean,
that one's for Jack and that one's for Lorna. How's that?
All over it. All over it. Hey?
So smooth, mate. So smooth.
What's your that's Chateaubriand, is it?
Yeah, the fillet cut.
Yeah? Nice. Nice. Nice and pink.
We got it down from Scotland and from Riley and Sons Butchers up in Scotland. Really good bunch up there. They do really sort of top quality catering meat, and they've also got an online presence as well, but consumer presence, and they do some really lovely stuff. And they seem to like pigs in blankets, which is interesting.
I like pigs in blankets. Isn't that like that's what the only problem is you can only have them at Christmas, can't you? Otherwise it's just a bit weird.
I had some in a roll for lunch. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. $4.99 Carl at the minute. Pack of pigs in blankets, mate.
Yeah? Oh, I'll do that. I'll do that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm up for that. What's the the Wellington, how rich is it? Quite rich?
Yeah, so Hilary did his with like a mushroom duxelle. So like loads of mushrooms, onion. You put a bit of cream in there, Hills, a bit of stock.
Nice.
A bit of garlic in there, and then wrapped in prosciutto as well. So, yeah, I haven't actually tried it yet, but it came out nice and medium rare. The Chateaubriand is still really juicy, so, which is really nice. But I think we're going to have to eat it really soon before it gets a soggy bottom.
It was a bug on Bake Off when they like complain about a soggy bottom. I'm always there going, but I really like it when I get one of them pies and it's all gone a bit gooey.
A bit mush, yeah,
I'm like that's my favourite bit.
each their own, I suppose.
Well, I've been sort of thinking of some drinks. So I've got a pretty nice one for you, I think, this week. Yeah, want to give it a go? Like what stuff you've got? Okay, you've got cherry, so that's sensible. Well done. I got it. I got it all organised yesterday, and I had a bit of a late night at work, and I had it all organised, ready, looking nice, all ready at work. And then I woke up this morning and went, "Oh, I've left it at work," which is quite a long way away. So I made myself some cherry syrup on the fly. So it's a little bit thick, but it is pretty good. So it's not too bad.
How do you make that?
Then, to be fair, making cherry syrup is really easy. So the risk is turning it into like a jam.
Right.
So you're just pushing it too far. So you get yourself imagine you got half a kilo of cherries. You then get yourself half a kilo of sugar. Put that together. Start cooking that down as it starts thickening up, and all the flavour, the cherries start melting and going into the sugar. So you get all the flavour in the sugar, and then you add water then to lengthen it out slightly. So you get the consistency that you want. So it's really easy to do it like that. But I mean, the best way to do it, I would say, is go and buy some cherry syrup.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of work.
Because that way you don't have to faff around.
From Amazon.
There you go. That's the way it should have been done. I just woke up and I was like, oh, it's on the side.
Oh.
So what we got?
What have we got here then? What have we got, Janet?
You got the Manzanilla, right? So Manzanilla sherry. Yes, you got Manzanilla sherry, or I've got an Oloroso. So I said you could use Manzanilla or an Oloroso, depending on which one you wanted to use. A cherry syrup, your Buffalo Trace, which is very important, and some of the old lemon juice. And that's all you need. Yeah. I squeeze mine, get it fresh, but just squeeze it out because then I can take all the bits out.
Yeah.
But that's just me being
a
juicer, nailed it. I love those yellow Mexican elbows. They
have a funny name. Aren't they called Waiter's Elbow or something?
Mexican elbows. Yeah.
Mexican elbow. What makes them Mexican?
Well, you're normally you make a margarita, aren't you? So squeezing limes. I could have made that. I could have made that up, but it makes sense in my head, so I'm rolling with it. But it's definitely called a Mexican elbow. That's can you see? Yeah. I bet you've got really fancy knives, haven't you? Yeah. I've got. See, I use a bar knife. They're not fancy or pretty, but they are very good for cutting citrus.
If anything, this is too sharp. It scares me.
Yeah. That's every bartender. You get a new bar knife. It's one of the things you do all week, right? You get a new bar knife. Everyone's always complaining, I need a new knife. I need a new knife. I need a new knife. You get a new bar knife on there. Now, bar knives are like ridiculously sharp with the serrated edge because they're literally just for cutting through rind. But the first thing every single bartender does, they go, "Oh yes, new knife," and you're like, bleeding. And then the first thing you do when you get a new knife is have to put like a rubber glove on. You just look like the whole night with this rubber glove on. You're like, oh.
Nice bit of lemon juice in the cut as well, yeah.
God, it's just horrific. Yeah, so you're going to need, right, what we're going to do is we're going to make a cherry blossom, right? Because I heard you were doing the old Wellington. And what did you do, Jack?
So I made a bourbon cream mushroom sauce, and I did my beef just seared, so I've seared it heavy on the outside, salt and pepper, and let it come up to temperature. So it's just resting now, actually, so I could cut it in a minute. But yeah, like really beefy, nice rich cream bourbon, obviously Buffalo Trace in the sauce. So yeah.
Because I was trying to think, what? Rich? I'm really not rich. I live in a studio.
I left my ingredients in the shop.
Well done. I was thinking through, like, they're quite rich dishes, and it's like, it's proper warm outside. You're outside, I'm inside because I couldn't do it on the terrace. And so I thought, do you know what? If we're going to have this like rich food, like beautiful meat, beautiful flavors, but with the weather, you want to balance that out. So I thought, what flavors do I love? What things are going to go really well with that texture of meat? And I thought cherry is just this absolute wonder. Like you can play around with like cherries. I think are so good because you can have a cherry and feel like really summery, really springy, sort of like just like this is great. But you can also make cherry wintry. So depending on how you feel, you can kind of switch your drink up, right? So what this drink is quite simple. You can do it in two ways. You guys have got Manzanilla. I've got Oloroso sherry. Okay, the cherries are the two different cherries. The Manzanilla you've got is like a really lovely, fresh, light, citrusy flavour, but it's got like a buttery note to it. So whereas a Fino is very dry, the Manzanilla is just a little bit off there. You get that buttery in there, so it's great. And I've got the Oloroso, so if you wanted to do like a more wintry version, this one's a little bit heavier and it's got a really lovely nutty texture to it. So depending on like where you are in sort of season or what you're feeling, you could just switch the sherries in this drink with the Buffalo, and you've made like going from summer to winter. So it's like a really lovely one that you can just play around with. All right.
Awesome.
So it's a sour. So to make a sour, you need sugar and lemon juice. So we've got cherry as the sugar and lemon juice as the sour. So that's your sort of main base.
What am I going to have to put it in first? What do I need to put it in?
Oh, I would say so. We're gonna shake it. So this drink's shake one. Yeah. Have you got a shaker or not shaker?
I do. One moment.
One moment. You could stir it if you really wanted to, but it would be like it would be heavier.
Right.
So when you stir it, you get like the flavors combining more of like they're quite interlaced, but in like a thicker manner. So you end up with like a heavier body to it because of the sugar level. Ta-da! You've got a cobbler shaker. That's an English shaker, and I've got a Boston. So this is an American one.
Okay.
Well, actually, this is Japanese. If I'm honest, Boston's a glass. When you have a metal and a glass, and the Japanese do metal because they're clever.
We're gonna have to up our game, Hills. We've only got like the basic stuff, you know.
I'm gonna bring you some up. I've got bloody loads. So, I've got shakers coming out my ears. So I'm just gonna bring you some up. And you have some fancy ones. Right. So we're gonna do it in the shaker.
Charcoal. Let us know. We'll sort you out. Tons of that as well.
Sure. Shaker, and then the first thing you want to put in is your lemon juice. So it's 20 mils ish. So I get. Are you guys on measures or are you on shot glasses?
Measures.
Measure. So it's the smaller side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that 15 in there, or is that?
That's 20.
20, right.
Yeah. And then Hillary, it's normally, if it's a good lemon, half a lemon is 20 mils. If it's a bad lemon, then you normally have to do both halves.
Right.
I can hear Huh? 2/3 of a little lemon, so I think I'll put the other.
Put the extra bit in, yeah, and put it into.
Do we put ice in here first, or?
Nah, always do. Basically, the second you put basically, as soon as liquid hits the ice, it starts melting. So you do your ingredients first. So you do your ingredients first, and then you put your ice in. So then your ice goes in dry, and the drier your ice, the better your cocktail is going to be at the end. So if you put wet, soggy ice in, with the cocktails, I know it sounds really wanky, and I don't mean it to be, but when you put wet ice in, it literally just waters down the drink too quickly, and you end up like missing some of the flavors. So they're like, you want to get really cold ice that's like quite tough, like fresh out the freezer or whatever, and then you always put your liquid in, then your ice in, and then you shake it straight away, and then you've chosen when you want it to start diluting. So I got 20 mils.
Right, 20 mils
in there. Little splash extra.
Okay.
And then the next bit is your cherry syrup. Now, it all depends on how sweet you like things with cherry syrup. And it also depends on the cherry syrup you're using. Like mine's quite sour because I use sour cherries. So it's got a slightly sour taste to it already, which is cool. Yours, the moaning one, is it's like just the classic great syrup, but it's quite sweet. So with the moaning one, so I say basically, if you don't like things too sweet, is those the pigs in blankets? They look amazing. You could dip it in the cocktail. You could dip it in the cocktail afterwards.
Imagine that,
right? So if you basically with cherry, basically go equal to what the lemon juice you put in, or if you like things slightly sweeter, or you like a bigger, bolder cherry flavour, then just do 5 mils extra, like 25 mils sort of thing.
Right. You were spot on, by the way. Half a lemon was exactly that in the measure.
Okay, so I think I'm a bit saying here. Okay.
It's really weird. I swear, when you've squeezed like as many lemons and limes as I have, you suddenly realise that on the odd occasion there's one that has more or less, but realistically, lemons do about 20 mils a half, and limes do about 15 mils a half, and oranges do 45 mils a half, and you're just like, it's just odd. Like, because obviously that's nature. It should be completely random, but it's nature. It's just, no, they're not. Even if it's a smaller one, it'll still give the same juice. And you're like, this is crazy. Right. Those two in. Then you're going to do your sherry. So 15 mils of that.
So just under this.
Yeah, just under.
Can you replace the sherry with something else if you don't? Because bear in mind we've only got enough for like maybe 2 cocktails. Can you replace it with something else?
Yeah, do you know, like, so sherry's like a fortified wine. So you can kind of, when you're thinking that through, if you went for, imagine you went for something like a port,
I've
that
got
make
a
the
white
drink.
port. Would that work?
White port would be absolutely stunning in there. You can use red port, white port. Obviously, red port would be, again, like I was saying about the Oloroso Manzanilla, you'd be going red port, you're going to be more wintry. White port, you're going more summery. You can use different types of sherry. You could use vermouth if you wanted to, but it won't add the same zing. So one of the things about using the sherry is with your meat. So your meat that you guys have got is going to be that's lovely, like luxurious, rich flavors coming from that meat. And then with the sherry has this sort of like tingling sourness going on, and that will balance out and really bring out the flavors of the meat. Whereas if you go for something like a vermouth, the drink will taste lovely. So don't get me wrong there. The drink will taste fantastic, but it won't be about the food, if you know what I mean. It'll be very much, you'll end up with much richer drink that's, I would say, if you're doing that, I would say you'd stir the drink rather than shake it, and you sort of sit there in your martini glass style thing. That would probably be the better way to do it. Right. Should we stick the bourbon in, or are we on the sherry?
I've only gone as far as the cherry.
You've got what?
Sorry, bud. I've only gone as far as the cherry. I've got the lemon juice and the cherry. So which stage am I at now?
Right, we're doing.
Busy playing with his sausage rolls or whatever.
Yeah. So when you've got a fancy barbecue, I've just got a fire pit and I try and cook things on there. Right, so lemon juice, cherry.
Equal portions, got it.
Equal portions, or more cherry if you want a bit more sweetness.
Slightly more, yep.
Then you're going to go with your sherry. So do 15 mils of sherry. For
Okay. Don't waste it, Hills.
And make sure you keep your sherry or your port in the fridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I always keep mine at room temperature.
No, if you've opened it, stick it in the fridge. When you're drinking the port, you let it warm up to room temperature. But while you're not drinking it, stick it in the fridge. Otherwise, you get more. It doesn't go. It doesn't, like some people will say. A lot of people will say it goes off. It does, but not off, as in you can't drink it. It just gets a slightly more oxidized flavour to it. And if you like that, which to be fair, I do, but I like keeping mine when I'm making cocktails in the fridge, because then it stays really perfect and you can keep it for longer.
Oh, interesting, because I quite like that.
Yeah, I mean, a bottle of port in my house lasts about 15 minutes. So
with a cheese board on the side,
yeah, I get kind of carried away. I'm like, oh well, it's time for port, isn't it? Marvelous. And then I suddenly become very posh and sit there just quaffing pints of port.
God,
we'll get on well, Carl. I think, we'll be all right.
Well, I grew up in a region of Australia where they make port. So around Rutherglen, I don't know if you know the Rutherglen area. Yeah. So I come from out there, Brown Brothers, and they do fortified wines, lots of ports, sauternes, sherries, all that sort of stuff.
Bit of Madeira, love a bit of Madeira.
All sort of stuff when you're sitting around the campfire of an evening. You can have a little, really good stuff. Anyway, sorry, mate.
Right. Next is the Buffalo Trace. Okay. I don't like to skimp on the Buffalo because I like it. So I'll do 50 mils. So a big old glug.
Double measure, yeah.
Yeah, double.
So I've got a shot glass here as my measure. How much is in that one?
Well, one and a half, two. Depends how big that shot glass is, but I'm guessing it's 25 mils.
I think so.
So obviously we've got the sweet. You've got that sweet cherry flavour. You've got richness from those cherries coming through. You get with cherries are fun because you get that fruity flavour, but you get the tartaric acid. So cherries have tartaric acid in there, which gives this like floral and then this wonderful like bite to them. So you'll get that even with the syrup. You're going to get that tartaric flavour come through, which is great. You've then your lemon juice is balanced out. I'm using the Oloroso, which is nice, so I'm going to get this nuttier flavour. You guys are using the Manzanilla, so you're going to get like bergamots, and you're going to get some orange florals, like orange flower in there. a little bit of jasmine-y texture. So that's what you'll get off that Manzilla, which is fantastic. And then we're going to got the Buffalo Trace in there. So you get like Buffalo Trace has got that beautiful buttery, like melt your mouth vanilla. Okay, so you're going to get that vanilla in there. And then it's got the grape spice to finish it off. So it just dries everything out. And that's going to mean you can actually drink, you know, a lot of them, which is always the goal. And then fill your shakers with ice.
Fill the shaker, okay.
Yeah, with a cobbler shaker, it's halfway. So if you're using a cobbler shaker like you guys, you fill it halfway with ice. If you're using a shaker that's like one of these, you fill the small side to the top with ice.
Okay, all right.
Hang on. There you go, shake. There you go. It's like you want to get the tin like as you see, like as frosty as you can. So when you put your finger on it, you can make marks.
Too cold to touch.
Yeah.
2 hands.
Hillary's technique is the style where the cap flies off and hits someone in the face, and you lose your drink out of it.
Yeah, be careful, we've not got much left, mate.
I've got a whole bowl. And then you're going to just pour it straight out.
It gets
Ice
really
in the
cold.
glass or just straight out?
Huh?
Ice in the glass or just straight out?
Now, straight out. The same thing as what I said when we're building it. We put the ice in last, because then we got the drinks perfect, and then we add the ice in when we're ready.
Okay. So you need to fill. Oh, you take the little top off. Okay.
Little top off. Yeah. And I've got a big square, but you can put cubes in or anything. You just plug it in.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lovely colour.
Look at that.
Oh.
Mine's dark cherries. You got yours looks amazing. Look at that colour.
How's that?
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Look at that.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Ooh. Wow.
See,
Oh,
that's a drink.
That's
good.
refreshing, isn't it? My
Yeah.
God. Mm.
You can see how you can get carried away with these.
Mm. That's
you know
really
what?
good.
That's quite a lot of booze you put in there, wasn't it? Like 2 measures
Yeah.
of buffalo, wine.
2 measures.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's all, but you get so many flavors coming off it. That's what I love about that drink, is because like, even though you've got a big hit of buffalo in there, which is great. You've got your sherry in there, but then the cherry, you just still get that cherry flavor coming through. So you just get a lovely cherry.
Right. Wow, that's really lovely.
Mm.
Every single time you amaze us, mate. Wow.
And it matches my shirt. So
Perfection.
I literally put this shirt on just in case I spilt any, so that it would like blend in. So that when I go out, no one will notice. Like, oh no, it was supposed to be like that. It's part of the pattern.
Especially if you're shaking it like Hillary did.
All right, I'm not kidding, right? So literally, you teach people how to shake. So when you've got one like this, you put the lid on, and you hold top and bottom. And then you're basically throwing it backwards and forwards with your hands like this. Doesn't matter how many times you tell people, you teach people. Yeah, doesn't matter how many times you tell people and you teach people. Someone does it this way round, right? Okay, so whereas normally you put it that way. So basically, shaking like this, it goes over your shoulder. So if it comes apart, it flies over your shoulder. The drink goes over your shoulder. Doesn't matter how many times you tell people. Someone shakes it this way round, and then you inevitably, and I've seen it so many times, it's hilarious, but you feel really bad. This flies off, nearly hits a customer, and then the rest of the drink follows it and covers the customer. And then you just see you just see the bartender turning around going, "Am I in trouble?" You're like, "Yes, you are. Yes."
Duck it out of the way.
Oh,
Wow.
that's made my day.
Like it?
That is
Nice.
amazing, yeah.
If you've got little tweaks, if you want to play around, so I assume you're going to have a few more of these. So if you're going to play around, I don't know what bitters and things you've got, but if you've got any orange bitters or something like that, You put a dash of orange bitters, and you'll get like another little texture off it. No, not the. Don't use the Angostura ones.
No.
One of the flavored ones.
Got the peach one.
Yeah, the peach one. So if you put a dash of like just one dash, you'll end up like with another lighter layer to it. So you can have a play around and see what you think. And then the other thing to do is sort of like play around with the level of Oloroso and Buffalo in there. So this is my perfect recipe. But imagine you wanted to go for a slightly lower ABV. So you feel it, you know, maybe you've had 3 of these and now it's time to sort of bring the booze level down slightly. You can switch it. So you can switch it the other way around.
Okay.
So you can do, like, especially with your white port, that would just be epic. So you basically fortify the sherry with the white port. So you do 15 mils of Buffalo with your sort of 40, 50 mils worth of port. And then you've got, like, you'll end up with more of a wine-based one. So it's, you know, and that's great. So you can sort of like, and that would be a lower ABV. So whereas this drink, I think when you work out the ABV, I know that sounds really fancy, but it's not hard. You work out the ABV of this, and it means that it works out at about 20%. So, you know, this is 40%, this is 20%, 25%. Then you mix your water and your lemon juice, your sugar, it brings it down. So it makes about 20% as a cocktail, which is about sort of your standard stronger level cocktail. If you switch the port, if you switch them around, so if you switch your sherry and that around, you'll end up with a drink that's around 11%, which is much more like drinking a glass of wine.
Fair enough.
Well, I'll tell you what, this will be the first of many today. Look at Hillary being the barman. Look, sharing it out.
Yeah.
Studio audience is a bit thirsty. Yeah. Come and say hello, Dave.
Marvel's just asleep. He's not interested in the cherry. He's like, but he did steal my. I had a curry last night, and just as we started the live, he walked up to the table, grabbed the pompadons off the side of the table, and has just sodded off with them. So yeah, I've lost those.
Yeah, they go, mate.
Wow, that's fantastic, mate. So what was that one called, buddy? What was that one called again?
So I call this the cherry blossom. So I thought, you know,
nice.
I was out in the in Hagson Park the other day, and the whole field was covered in blossoms, and I was like, Joe, what? That's a great idea. Let's do a cherry blossom with Buffalo Trace. So you got that stunning, absolutely stunning flavors of Buffalo Trace, vanilla and spice coming through. Big hit of cherry, and then your sort of your Oloroso, your Manzanilla sherry, sort of adding all those florals. So when you've hopefully with your barbecues, which I'm very jealous of. That Wellington and the seared beef is going to be stunning. So like the whole point of the drink is it will really bring out flavors of that meat.
Oh, lovely.
Okay. Well, the studio audience are pretty happy. Hang on, and then we'll just show you the table here. Can we see the meat? Oh, it's in the shadow there. You might have to do the old. We'll just disconnect here. We'll show you some of the food just quickly. Look at this. That cocktail is going to go down with. Incoming. I'm not sure if you can see it all there. The shadow, I think we're
look at that. Off. Lovely.
There you go.
I'm heading off to Heads and Tails Bar in West Hampstead to have a few more of these. So.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So a few of those I think for the afternoon. Me and Marv.
Okay. Wait, they're the Heads and Tails Bar. That's just from the tube station, isn't it?
Literally opposite. It's absolutely epic.
Yeah. No, I walked past it just on Thursday night. I was down there with met up with a mate down there. That way, he's got he likes sake.
Oh yeah, I like sake as well.
Yeah.
We should do a cocktail with some sake.
Ooh. I'll have to show you something one day up there. He's got a whole sake dispensary thing. Like, you know. Oh, it's
nice.
Epic. Anyway, I digress. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you should jump in there sometimes. Like, it's a good bar. Nice bar.
Nice. Okay.
Right. Gents, absolute pleasure as always.
Thank you.
It's gone down very quickly.
I put some more ice in mine.
It's delicious, Carl. It's so delicious. Thank you, mate.
I'm glad you enjoy them. So have a few more, and apparently I heard that the cherry means that you don't get a hangover.
Okay.
Oh, right.
I'll report back tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Or you won't because you'll have such a horrific hangover there.
Yeah, I might say about Monday.
No, enjoy, guys. Have a wicked afternoon. Enjoy that meat. Looks wicked.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Again, buddy. Have a great weekend, mate.
And you. I'll see you soon. Have a good one.
See you later.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye, gents.
Bye-bye.